One.
Welcome back to another episode of the Meet Kevin Show. It's been a minute. Well, it was actually since like Thursday because we had Friday. I don't know what we did Friday. We had, I guess, stuff going on Friday, and then obviously there's a weekend. But anyway, welcome back. We've got to talk quite a few things here. Inflation transitoriness. We'll talk Trevor, Milton, Elon Musk, and some of the latest going on with various different topics here, including Tesla, Russ, and so on. Mikey, where do we start today, man? I mean, where's our recession? You know how much content there would be in an actual recession? And now we're like in this world of like, it's not that bad.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think the recession got canceled. I was reading a report on Reuters today that I wanted to go over, and it was titled, Why the Fed's Dire Prediction for 2023 Didn't Come True.
Yeah, there was a period of time where they're like, oh, we're going into recession. Like Jerome Powell dropping the hard R, like recession. So what did Reuters say?
Well, to read the first paragraph, it just says, the U.S. Federal Reserve started 2023 on a grim note, with staffers calling a recession plausible and policymakers penciling in growth near stall speed and rising unemployment as the costs of quashing inflation with rapid-fire interest rates increases. But basically, none of it happened, and I have a few graphs that I want to go over that shows that.
Yeah,
So
that'd be interesting.
Here's the first one. I really love this one. This is like a little timeline of the year here. So let's zoom in to...
Oh, to the text size Kevin can read. Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. What is that? March. Oh, there it is. The Ides of... Was that the Ides of March? Is that the 15th?
March 13th.
13th. Oh, 2 days before. They mistimed that.
We are prepared to use our full range of tools to help the economy stay strong. So the lines that you're seeing, the red one is PCE annual inflation rate, and then the blue one is the Fed's policy interest rate.
Ah, that's COVID. Okay. I see. That's 2020 there. Yeah.
Beginning of COVID, so it hits the floor here,
Cuts.
and we're watching inflation starting to go up. And then over here, towards midway of 2021, as these transitory supply effects abate, inflation is expected to drop. So this is the inflation is transitory phase here, right, where we're seeing like 4% inflation. But it kept going up. And so January of 2022, still with a 0% Fed rate, we're seeing inflation at over 6%. Quote, inflation has again surprised to the upside. And this is as of June in 2025.
That was when I was doing the inflation report from the beach in Germany. And I made a title and thumbnail that I thought was just going to be like, this is BS. It's just going to be clickbait. And I put a thumbnail in, and it's like, because all the estimates were inflation was going to be like 8.8%. And so I'm like, F it. 9%. I put it like in the title and the thumbnail. And then sure enough, it's 9.1 or something like that. People are like, how did Kevin change the thumbnail so quick? And other people are like, it's been that since before he knew. Yeah, that was intense though. That was, wow. Okay. Geez, that was our peak.
That was our peak. So we started seeing the Fed rate start to go up pretty rapidly here.
Yeah.
And then we have July 2023. We will do what it takes to get inflation down as they're continuing to increase rates over here. And inflation is starting to subside. So here we are now. The quote of December 13 is, that's us thinking we've done enough. And obviously we're not expecting them to raise rates anymore.
Right.
And I'll go over some different groups and when they think the cuts are coming. But inflation right now is hovering right around that 3 to 4%, closer to 3% right now.
I think this Fed has zero, and this is what a lot of people disagree on. I personally think the Fed has zero appetite to create joblessness. I'm almost convinced that the Federal Reserve, when they get pressed on it, they have this secondary handgun. It's like we saw their first handgun, and now it's like, all right, that's all you got, Fed, 5%. And it's like, it's okay. Things are getting better. Things are getting better. And then as soon as people start questioning the Fed, going, hey, come on, we're running at 2.5 here, or 2.75 or whatever. You said we were going to get down to 2. Fate, bro. Flexible average, man. Do the 10-year average. Both sides, we're at 2. Wouldn't surprise me at all if we don't fall into deflation. I think somebody sent me an email. They're like, Kevin, we can't have disinflation without deflation. And I read the email. I'm like, well, yeah, we can. And then I hit archive. But no, I'm like, okay, thank you. But you can have disinflation without deflation. The problem is everybody wants to compete for business. So prices tend to trend down because everybody's competing for those customers. And the way you get customers is price and quality. If you're the only competitor, you can price whatever you want.
But as soon as you can price whatever you want, you got this appearance that, wow, this is a good product or service. Everybody wants to be in your world. So I don't know. What else did you hear from Reuters?
So I have this graph now of Fed views of 2023. This shows GDP, unemployment, core PCE inflation, and federal funds rate. I'll give you a second to digest that.
Yeah, it's so interesting. The rising GDP. Look at that hole we hit there. So that must have been Q1, Q2, almost of like 2022. Was it? It's hard to tell a little bit with the graph.
It's kind of.
Oh, the colors.
End
the
of 22,
mid-color.
Beginning of 23.
End of 22. How interesting, because we were in a technical recession, Q1, Q2 of 22, but growth did fall substantially there in 22. And I think that was really our recession. You know, what a lot of people, they look and go, oh, but Kevin, you know, when the yield curve is this inverted, Bloomberg was writing about this too, and I ended up emailing the author. You know, they're like, look, the inverted yield curve, it's so inverted. Look at all the times it's inverted this much in history, and the stock market dropped 30%, and some stocks dropped 60%. And they're writing these articles, and I'm like, that already happened. Like, that literally is what we just went through. We just went through that. So I wonder if we do continue this volatile Nike swoosh recovery, if in 5 years, you know, we're going to be looking at the textbooks going, well, the stock market did drop 30 to 60%. You know, crypto did drop, what, 80%?
120%. Yeah.
Or whatever it was, right? Those are the NFTs. Oh.
Yeah, oof, ouch.
So, yeah, it's weird when you're in it because there's so little clarity. You know, it's like, oh, well, that's just the first wave. And then people are like, no, it's going to be a double dip. I don't know, man. I'm just not seeing the bearish. I look every day. Every day I'm trying to find the bear pieces. The one that I have some concerns about is the Houthi attacks on our shipping lanes, just because of the potential of driving up oil prices. But oil prices are so volatile. We basically just remove those from inflation anyway. Now, they end up trickling through, but you know, you had the attacks in Israel, and with this very brief reaction in oil, and everything's just been trending down since then. And as soon as this Strait issue is resolved, we'll be right back to falling oil prices. Although Warren Buffett keeps loading up on oil companies. I mean, they do print money, in fairness, but I don't know. Everybody always says, you know, he's just an old man, but, you know, he still does really well. He's pretty good. I like Warren. So, I don't know. He sees something I don't know. It's hard for me to get into like the Occidental Petroleum. He's really into that one. But anyway.
His record speaks for itself, though.
Yeah, he does great. That's true.
So that was kind of just going over why Powell was using that term of transitory inflation and kind of the thinking behind it, too.
I think they'll come back and actually say it was transitory.
Oh, yeah?
Well, sure. Because they never said over what time frame.
I guess.
I mean, like, and I'm not trying to like BS it of like, well, we were right all along. Like, no, they were obviously slow to respond to inflation, and they shouldn't have used, oh, it's going to be transitory as an excuse for being as slow as they were. But in the grand scheme of things, we will look back and see this 40 years of disinflation and basically disinflation, declining inflation rates. And then we'll see the spike, and then we'll see this plummet again of inflation, potentially even negative, and then maybe we'll see a little bit of rebound up. You know, it's all that volatility caused thanks to the supply chain crises and the insane amount of printing. And again, in 5-10 years, we'll look back and go, well, I mean, it made sense that it was transitory.
Yeah, the pandemic basically ended up dumping trillions of dollars of aid into consumers, and all was well.
While you shut down your factories.
Yeah, all was well up until demand hit a wall with the global supply chain freeze.
Yeah, what do you do? It's like there's nothing you could do when you can't manufacture. It's like you gave everybody way more money, but then nobody's actually producing goods and services. Just stay at home, don't work.
But it looks like we have an update on that, too. I have another graph for you. I've got a lot of graphs for you today.
Yeah.
This is supply pressures and as they're easing.
Yeah, good.
So this is New York Fed Supply Chain Pressure Index.
This zero index. Could we read the description at the top?
Yes. New York Fed measure of global supply pressure showed a steady return to normal through 2022, with supply conditions easier than usual through much of 2023 and likely aiding the Fed's effort to control inflation.
Oh, absolutely. And okay, now all the way at the bottom, what is the annotation there? What is the black down there? What is that?
So note values above zero represent higher than normal pressure on global supply. So this bold black line is the average.
Okay. So zero is like no abnormal pressure.
Yes.
Okay, that's what I was trying to understand.
Yes,
because obviously we're returning to the zero. And so some folks are going to extrapolate and go, oh, it looks like we're going back into pressure. But then I also look at 2017 and 18 and 19. And it seems like we generally kind of jigger around that level over there of like plus or minus half to minus half to about 1. Okay. All
So we
right.
saw inventories getting rebuilt.
That's an interesting chart.
Yeah, they're even saying inventories could have even been rebuilt to excess at this point, which
for sure.
we're seeing it go down below the 0.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, you look at that's we had this period of time last year where we were looking at companies and their cash flow statements were like they were adding money back for inventories, and people are like, wait, so that basically means they're buying less inventory and they're just blowing through the money or the inventory they have. Exactly. So everybody overbought. Like seeing some empty shelves at Best Buy was actually like kind of cool again because everything was so stocked up at the end of 2022. So
Yeah. Labor supplies also ended up surprising to the upside here.
Oh, let's see it.
I'll go over some labor too.
Yeah.
So
that's a big one. That's the one
Yeah.
that I think if we go into a recession, that's if labor breaks, we're in recession. That's when we're in recession. If labor stays strong, then we can get through this with a pretty soft landing, which will be pretty wild. Sentiment seems to be improving too.
I agree.
Overall, yeah, things
There
were a
was
little gloomy there last year.
early concerns in the pandemic about women's ability to work and go into the work field, and then we saw a record number of women joining the workforce. The big one here that I thought was really interesting is that rising immigration actually helped with this.
Yeah.
Because even there was what they called Reuters called a historic mismatch between the amount of open jobs and the number of people looking for work.
Yep.
Immigrants ended up bridging that gap, and I have this chart up on the screen now. More jobs than job seekers in the U.S.
Christian, could you throw that one up? There we go. Okay, more jobs and job seekers. Oh, this is the ratio of this is the JOLTS ratio. Yeah. Jerome Powell mentioned he wanted to see this in balance at 1, but he only mentioned that briefly. I think when we were sort of around peak, he mentioned he stopped mentioning that. I think he's actually okay with there being more job openings because if inflation's coming down, who cares if you have a strong jobs market? Like you want more people employed. Like if inflation is solved, then why kill jobs? There's no reason to. And Jerome Powell, did you hear what Jerome Powell's response was to? Basically, are prices ever going to come back down?
What do you say?
Basically, I'm going to bottom line it, and I'll give you the quote. Said, well, hopefully you get paid more at your job.
Oh,
So it's kind of interesting, like for him to acknowledge that in the Q&A of like, well, our price is going to come down. Well, the good news is real wages are positive. And so he's basically saying like, no, but hopefully you can make more to afford that. So it's really interesting because there is this very strong belief. And I think it's from mostly people who are not in the finance world. It's from people outside of finance that, prices are still so high. That's not going to change. It's not going to go down again. Mm-hmm. Unless, of course, you have a big depression. Or some kind of deflation or depression, which you don't want because that'd be even more miserable.
Yeah, if we go back to that target 2%, I do think there's kind of a misunderstanding there that a lot of people are thinking that means things are going to go back to normal. It's like, no, things are just going to stop going out of hand at the same rate that they were.
Exactly. Yeah.
One more chart I have for you. This is recent core inflation approaches its target. So this is going from December 2022 up until, this actually ends at October here. Green is monthly annualized, blue is 3-month annualized, yellow is 6-month, red is the year over year, and then
you
black
said this
is the
core.
target.
Core.
Yes, this is core inflation.
Oh, and look how volatile. I mean, they get less volatile as you go over time. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. That's why the green is so oopty-doopty.
Yeah, exactly. The green is the monthly.
Yeah, and then multiplied by 12 to get the annualized figure. But I mean, even that's trending quite down. Yeah. And I was even reading what Goldman piece this morning or whatever, just about how global inflation is so low. It's like global inflation. We put it on EHack actually. We've got the team, by the way, posting on EHack now. It's been me up until like 2:00 today. It's only been me. So now, mostly because I've been gone much of the day working real estate, which I gotta finish the edit on the Well, Christian did a great edit already, but I gotta finish my little annotations to the HouseHack video tonight, so I can finally get that posted because I keep promising it and I don't finish it because it's a freaking test. Although I am done with the tests.
Congratulations.
That's done. Yeah,
That's awesome.
All six tests in 3 months. That was a bitch.
That's impressive.
That's an average, passing a test every 2 weeks on average. Like everything else, I feel like just fell by the wayside because I'm just like outside of YouTube and the other stuff we're doing and HouseHack, I'm just like, it turned into boring. Okay, so what was I going to look up? I don't know. I was going to look
EHack.
Yeah.
Global inflation.
So if I go to ehack.com,
I've got it on my screen too.
You got it. Okay.
got it.
Yeah. So that is, yeah. I think halfway into that paragraph below there, we talked about this. What is it? The 2%, right above where your mouse is. There, Goldman Sachs sees core global inflation at does that say 2.2?
2.2% the past 3 months.
Yeah.
And just 1.3 in November.
That's crazy low.
That is very low.
And that's global. And that's partly, I think, because you have some countries that are so depressed, especially in manufacturing, whether it's Germany or China or whatever, that they're just exporting deflation to us. Again, great. It's all supportive of us being able to get cheaper prices. So things are going very well. And again, I'm looking for bad news. So if you know bad news, please put it in the comments or chat it right now. We've got the chat up. So if you've got bad news that you're seeing, write some bad news. McKay says, I really like HouseHack. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Yeah, it is actually it's really enjoyable being able to put all of our thoughts and content, and we're just now grooving in how we post things so we can get even more out faster. But we have this whole database there of all of our data, and it's great. I love it. To me, it's my favorite newspaper. I mean, we made it, so I'm really biased about it. But it's also that kind of newspaper where it's like the best stuff with the perspective. I can scroll back and go, what did I say last week when I was talking about that one report? And then I look, oh, it's right there. It's so great. I don't have to click anywhere. Anyway, so I nerd out about it because this is how I like things. So I'm just like, well, maybe if that's kind of what inspired it. Maybe if I like it so much, other people would like it too. So that's why
someone's asking, can you put a search feature in?
You have one built into any device you're on.
Command F or Control F?
Command F. If you're on the iPhone, you just go into the little browser and you click in the browser and type what it is, and then you could search within the page. How do you do it on Android?
I don't know. I don't know.
Okay, wait.
It's gotta be
How
possible.
to search in Chrome on Android. It has on your Android device, open the Chrome app, open a page, highlight a word on the page. Well, how's that going to work? Tap it or touch and hold it to show search results for the highlighted word. A panel opens up, and then I guess you could change the word. I want to search for a word on it, though. There's got to be. Click the More Options icon, the 3 vertical dots on the top right. Select Find in Page. That's what it is.
Right.
Okay. It's the 3 dots, and then you do Search Find in Page.
Yeah, that's it. That's
okay.
it.
So yeah, like literally, search feature is built in. What do I have to build one in for? Every device you're using literally has one. It's one page. Anyway.
Okay. Someone has bad news. Where did this go?
Bad news. College debt repayment
there
numbers. You know, what's interesting is like, so let's think about that. So first of all, let's try to get some data. So let's go to like St. Louis Fred or something. We'll go like college debt, ideally as a percentage of disposable or something like that, of disposable income, something like that. Yeah, there's household debt as a percentage of disposable income. We could look at that one. Then we could see the whole aggregate. I guess I could throw up my image as well. I forgot I could do that. But anyway, this is my favorite for looking at this. Is household debt service payments as a percentage of disposable income. Because everybody's like, oh, credit card debt's so high and household debt's so high. And like, yeah, it is. But it like always has been. It's America, bro. Like people have debt, okay? Like whatever. And then it's like, oh, but nominally it's high. Yeah, well then incomes are higher too. And I'm not saying they're fully caught up, but that's why this is so interesting because we look at household debt payments as a percentage of disposable personal income. So it's already factoring in personal income above and beyond your expenses for things like housing or utilities or whatever. And so when we compare, we're nowhere near the debt levels where we were before the 2007 crash. So like if we really think we're so bad off, then why are we just basically at the same levels? We're not even yet at the same levels that we were between 2012 to 2019, the end of 2019, beginning of 21. So household or college debt is a part of that. Now, don't get me wrong. People who have college debt, it's even harder to grow your wealth, and that sucks, right? So that's where it would be nice to figure out, okay, how can we go debt free? Because then you can actually buy real estate and you can build your wealth. Everybody should buy real estate. I say that all the time, but I don't know that. You know, when we look at this from an economy-wide angle, like, is it really that bad? It's just, I'm not saying it's not bad on the individual level. It is. Like, college debt sucks. I agree with that. But the second thing can also be true that, like, well, nothing's different relative to before COVID. Am I missing something on that?
No, I think that's a good point.
Bad news, I didn't buy more TMF. That's good. Yeah, as yields fall, that'll continue to skyrocket. That's I have exposure to that in multiple different ways, options and ownership and otherwise. Can we make it an app? We actually are making eHack an app. You can make a web, and that has many reasons for it. Mostly like notifications and stuff people want, which is hard to do with like a web app or whatever. But yeah, bad news is the shipping issue near Iran. Yeah, so we actually started talking. That's what I said. That was the one thing that I said. That is the one thing that's concerning me right now. Is that the Houthi attacks?
It's the Suez again, right?
No, is it the Suez? Because the Suez was the Strait of Hormuz was the one where we had. Yeah, it is the Suez Canal. The Strait of Hormuz was the one where we had the stuck tanker. Remember that tanker that was like a horizontal or whatever? What the hell?
There was a change.org petition to put the boat back.
That's awesome. Yeah. So it's going up. Houthi attacks going up. I always get the name of it wrong. So let me look at it here. If I just type Houthi on eHack. It's where is it? It is I can't even pronounce the darn thing. Bab al-Mandab. That's the shipping lane. And it's specifically between Yemen and like approximately Ethiopia. Right there. And you take the Red Sea up to get to Israel. And so the other option is you go all the way around Africa. This takes a lot more time. So all the shipping companies are rallying on that, like Zim and Maersk and all of these that have been really beat up through the freight recession and shipping recession. They're rallying because they're like, oh yeah, we're just going to charge our customers more. And then of course the bears pick this up as like, oh my gosh, that's going to be inflationary. Which is not wrong. That will increase some cost, but it's probably transitory.
I've heard that before. So Goldman Sachs actually expects a earlier and more aggressive, this is on eHack as well, rate cuts from several major central banks. And they quoted 3 back-to-back 25 bip cuts is what they're expecting, probably in March, probably May, probably June is what they're saying.
Yeah, the neat thing about them too is they actually think GDP is going to do very, very well. Relative to what people's expectations are.
They're saying real GDP to go up 2% next year.
It's crazy. They're like one of the highest estimates on the street right now. And it's so fascinating because, and I'm not saying like all these suits are going to be right. Like we could get black swan and be in a recession theoretically tomorrow with like mass joblessness or whatever. It's all possible. It's just, is it probable? Is it probable that we're going to hit this giant black swan wall? Well, the probability of that is likely the same every single year. So I'm just looking at like what is enhancing the chance that we have some kind of big black swan sooner rather than later. And I'm still looking for it.
That's fair. JP Morgan actually doesn't expect first cut until June. But regardless, everyone seems to be expecting it in the first half of next year.
Yeah. That's it's going to be interesting to see like how quickly they come down. And I think it's just going to be driven by how quickly inflation comes down. Because if inflation comes down faster than we expect, we're just going to keep pricing in cuts. And we're already at 5 priced in. 5 cuts for the entire year, even though, you've got Goldman and the Fed saying 3, so we'll see. I'm still trying to figure out when we can invest in Chinese stocks, but then I don't know China. We were talking about that last time.
Yeah.
We got to go visit China, but I think I'll just get arrested.
Probably.
Yeah.
I had a good time when I went, but your mileage might vary.
Yeah.
Going back to this first graph that I posted or that I showed today too, just noticing with this kind of thing with policy, there's always a lagging economic effect, right?
Yeah.
So rates start to go up here, and we don't see inflation start to cool until a little bit after. So in my kind of amateur take, I'm seeing this as like we're just about ready now. We could start slowly reducing those rates, and I expect inflation will continue to fall throughout the year.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I mean, you've got at least a 6-ish month lag over here on this. Part of it'll be like lapping higher numbers of the prior year and that. So it's really interesting. But yeah, it does suggest that if you stay strong for too long, boy, you might overdo it.
You might overdo it. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's why J. Powell was not bashful to pivot here, because he seemed so dovish. He almost seemed a little panicky that he had already gone too far. Because I've just seen him so many times, and I study him so much, go from like he comes out angry and like, it's going to be hard, writing recession in the forecast. That's when he's punishing us. Or what we saw in the minutes that January 2022 from December 2021. Those were the hard J Pows. Like he's really putting the pants on. This time, he's there with his like Acer laptop or whatever. And if you watch it back, he's stumbling over his words. Like, I've never seen him screw up so many times in his speaking. It's almost like he felt almost like defeated or like nervous that like it seemed like he would just realized like, shit, I might be overdoing it. And so he had to come across as really soft. I thought that was and that's why the market rallied. Whether they recognized his softness or what, but his demeanor was vastly different. And I think that's exactly what you're saying. His realization that, okay, I don't know, it's over, inflation's over. Think about it. Inflation was over in, 2013 to 2019. Rates were 1.5% to 2.5%. We're more than double that now. Mm-hmm. It's crazy. What do you have to say about that, McKay?
Everybody thinks I'm fired.
Everybody thinks you're gone. Here, come to the mic, say something. You just like get the rubber mat out that we have, and you could like.
Guys, I'm back from Exile Island.
Exile Island. What have you been doing?
No, we're working hard on HouseHack. I mean, HouseHack is just really like, in terms of like workload, exploded. That's all very positive things, and so Mikey's doing a great job with the podcast, and Kevin, he prepares it enough where Kevin can kind of sit down and Mike can give him an overview, and they can have a valuable discussion. So Mikey came in clutch for that, and it's more valuable for the business that we kind of disperse our manpower across the business rather than just take like 3 highly capable people and just have them do a podcast. So I can come say hi every once in a while, but we have some really exciting things for HouseHack that Kevin has an update coming on maybe this week.
Oh, yeah, well, I want to get it done tonight. Yeah, there'll be even more. See, what's crazy is like you guys are killing it so much just with everything, and Mikey's working with HouseHack as well, which is so fun. Welcome to property management, by the way. Welcome to construction management, by the way.
Nobody told me it would be this fun.
Really, it's so funny. We walked up to that building. We were looking at this multifamily building, and I just wanted to look at it as a comp. And I see this guy walking up to a vendor, and like I look at the guy and I'm like, that guy's the owner of the building. And so I walk up to him with Christian. I'm like, watch, this is the owner. I walk to him and I'm like, oh, hey, you the owner? That guy is like, yeah, I'm the owner. Stressed out. And I'm like, oh, so 1031? He's like, nope, just selling. I'm like, yeah, they always say real estate's passive income, but it's anything but, huh? And he's like, oh, tell me about it. He's beat, dude.
And he was fixing toilets at that property, right? Yep. Like tenants and toilets.
Real estate's hard. Like, most people don't understand. It's actually hard. It's like there's a reason there's a business of landlording because it's hard, but I love it.
Yeah, I mean, you and I were talking about each time you learn something, it's just like another item in your tool belt that you can use later on. It's like you become faster with the answers.
Yep.
And you just become like, oh, it's like not that big of a deal. Like,
yeah.
But yeah, that's where I've been.
Good job,
doing
man.
Some good work. But yeah, you guys.
Yeah, it's kind of fun. Yeah. There's some days where I'm like, oh, I got so much with the team and accounting or whatever to catch up on. It's like, McKay, you're flying to XYZ, and HouseHack doesn't pay for it, but you're on the plane and you take the guys or whatever. It's great. It's great.
It's a lot of fun, and Kevin's still like every day. Him and I go over the overview of all the properties, so he's very much involved in every level. And if he has a question, or if he wants to change something, he's there whenever we have questions. So it's been awesome to kind of have.
That's so
HouseHack grow so much. But
yeah, going from like where we were, in mid 2022, where it's like you and I, like, man, we got some foundations to build, to now like what?
Yeah,
12
well, and congrats on your test. That's awesome. Like, you were stressed by the 65 a year ago.
I was worried about one test a year ago.
Yeah,
here it's like, how about 6?
Yeah, I don't know of anybody that has that many tests, so that's cool.
It was a pain.
But there's so much exciting things coming. If you guys haven't yet, subscribe to the podcast.
Yeah.
But yeah, you guys are killing it. Good job.
Thanks, man.
Good to see you.
All right, what else? Trevor Milton.
Nikola CEO.
Dude, 4 years.
Going to jail for just 4 years. Just a quick little vacation.
And he's going to end up being like Martha Stewart's kind of like cushy prison, isn't he?
There's no way he's going to like prison.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, it's like, technically over a year it's supposed to be prison. He'll go to like a local jail, probably. Yeah. Hey man, the door's back there.
He's on free bail right now too.
Really?
Oh yeah, he gets to appeal his conviction. So in the meantime, he's free bail.
Yeah. He's gonna get like good time served or whatever, or like what's it called? Good behavior. He'll be out in like 2.5 years.
Yeah.
And then he'll start a company that rents out like office buildings and office space throughout the country called like Nikola work or something.
No, he needs something that relies on Newton's law of motion.
Something that looks good when it rolls downhill. Yeah, I mean, wasn't that wild? I mean, it's so crazy because JP Morgan analysts called that a good story stock. And I remember looking at that. I'm like, what the kind of analysis is this of the company? Like, it's a story stock. It's a good story.
SBF was a story.
He was a story.
That was a story.
Dude, imagine if he SPAC'd. Imagine if FTX SPAC'd. That would have been the biggest SPAC boom bust ever.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Because
oh, yeah.
everybody would have invested in it. Very interesting.
But this guy, 4 years, and this is obviously a lot less than prosecution was hoping for. They were hoping for 11 years.
Yeah. He actually kind of got off good 4 years because he's a scumbag.
And,
I don't think he had to pay back, eh? Or he paid, there was a civil
Not yet.
settlement.
There was so he was fined $1 million, but that he could be forced to forfeit property later, and restitution is going to be determined at some proceeding in the future. So that one's kind of a...
That's for the criminal case. So restitution coming for criminal, and then there's the SEC charge, and he agreed to pay $125?
That was... the 125 was Nikola paid that as a whole. The
Nikola
entity.
paid that for... Oh.
And that was in 2021.
So it might be like, hey man, so you made $100 million being a scam and a fraud. Now go to jail for 2.5 years to work for it, and then you come out and you still have your 100 millies.
Yeah, for 4 years, that's well over.
Well, he'll
minimum
get out
wage.
on good
Yeah.
behavior.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, think about it. Like, how much is he going to get paid for being in jail? And and it could be way more than 100 mil that he still has. Like, what does Google say his net worth is? You know,
That's
who
what I'm
knows,
checking.
right? So let's say it's 100 mil. Well, let's find out.
It says his net worth is right around 4 billion.
No, it's not.
That's what Google says.
No. Wait, as of what date? 900. It's 900 days that I think he'll be in jail or prison or whatever. So 900 days.
Oh, it says for a time he had. This is a new article, but it said for a time
when
he
the
had,
stock was at peak or whatever.
Yeah, that
Okay,
would have been
okay.
his 4 bill number.
Yeah. So does he still own shares, or did he dump them? I wonder.
The shares aren't worth anything.
Well, that's the thing. Did he? How much did he actually get out? I'd be so curious. Yeah, they're just using that old net worth as like the old kind of clickbait or whatever. Yeah, at one point he owned 25% of Nikola. And so they valued his net worth as basically then.
He owned 25%. Okay, and then Nikola was worth about 400 mil.
Yeah.
This year.
So
100 mils.
400. Yeah. Okay. All right. So that's about right.
That's fair.
So let's call it 100 mil. Okay. And so you get 100 mil for 900 days. But bro, he's making $1 million a day in jail.
Yeah.
Wait. No, is that right? 900 days? No.
100K.
No, it's 100K.
100K.
100K a day to be in jail.
Dude, I would do
Bro.
it. I would do it.
I know. That's what I'm saying. Like,
I would even go to like jail for 100K. a day.
prison for 100K. No, no, but it's interesting. And does he have kids? I wonder if he has kids. Like, I would never I'd never want to be away from my family and kids. So I mean, that's the punishing thing, and it should be punishing. But what I kind of wish is that they took all his money away. Like
Right.
all of the gains should be taken away, and then they should do like what they did to Jordan Belfort, where it's like, and when you come back, you need to pay an extra like 50% of all the money you make after you come back to keep paying restitution. Because that's what they did with Jordan Belfort. So does he have kids? I don't know if he has kids.
Because otherwise, you're not disincentivizing anything. Like
Exactly. You're actually incentivizing crime at that point.
Yeah.
Because it's like, be a fraud, start an EV company, you're a total loser fraud, then go to jail for 2.5 years, walk out, after the good behavior idea, then then you come back to $100 million and a beautiful mansion in, Utah or wherever he owns it. Like, that's bad. All of that should be gone.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%.
There should be zero enrichment, and there should actually be, it should be like negative enrichment.
You should start less than you were before founding the company. I agree.
Yep. Because again, like you said, otherwise it's like people sit there and make the calculus of like, well, if you're still going to come out a billionaire, it's messed up.
And you were saying he was like I don't remember your exact language, but he was a work of art. You said something a little bit ago. I think you just said he was a D-bag. I don't remember your words.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Prosecutors were telling the judge they wrote a letter.
I have
saying
colorful language off
Yeah.
camera sometimes.
they should take into account Milton's profound denial of accountability and insisted on blaming others because he told the judge right before being sentenced, I did not intend to harm anyone, and I did not commit those crimes levied against me.
Yeah, so he still doesn't believe that what he did was wrong. And like, I don't know. It's you could go in two directions. You could do the like, hey man, I screwed up. Like, yeah, it was wrong. We were so excited. We thought the product, like he could have gone in that direction, right? He could have done the like, yeah, look, that was misleading marketing, but it was because we so believed that we were like on the cusp of it. But then it turned out we weren't. And we screwed up, and we're like, we're so sorry, or whatever. Sometimes that goes a long way. And that clearly was not part of his strategy here because he still doesn't believe he did anything wrong. I guess apparently in his testimony, closeout testimony or whatever, he was still like quoting Bible verses or whatever and trying to basically get a lower sentence, and it didn't work.
Did it not? I mean, 4 years.
Oh, but then
isn't that
again,
bad.
4 years, it's not that, you're right.
11's what prosecution
I
wanted.
guess it depends what that restitution is.
Yeah.
I want that guy to get reamed. If you're convicted fraud, you deserve to.
Yeah, no disagreement from me. All right, you want to go into an actual real EV company and talk about Tesla?
Yes.
They're removing Disney Plus from the vehicles.
Yeah. So why was that? That I thought was really interesting. Why did they remove this?
There's no official answer.
Of course not.
The context obviously is Musk had his tweet that was deemed anti-Semitic that he later apologized for, but then companies like Apple and Disney stopped advertising on X because of it. So if you read between the lines, like that's probably why, but they haven't officially said anything. However, they did, this is per Electric, they heard from a source that Tesla informed Disney last week that it was going to remove the app from Tesla. And then just a few days after that, they messaged them again. We're like, hey, we're only going to remove the app for people who haven't used it.
That's so funny, actually, because I saw people complaining on Twitter. They're like, oh, I like the Disney app. And then it's like, well, were you using it? So was it actually only removed for people who weren't using it?
That's what I've seen everyone say. I can't test it because I don't have my car today.
Okay. I mean, I don't use any. Honestly, I use like none of that infotainment stuff. I can't even touch my screen in the middle of the thing because I put a laptop there instead.
That's right.
Yeah, because it's like, I mean, all the stuff on there other than like the music or whatever, it's slow because it's just using like the car internet or whatever. Like, yeah, it's got a browser, but it's like 2007 iPhone internet. Like, it's bad.
The browser does work while you're driving.
Does it?
It does work while you're driving.
Yeah, but then you get the boop boop if you're on the alert.
if you stare at it.
Oh.
But I have used.
But
the
as soon as
browser
you
while
start
driving.
typing, it gets mad. No.
Yeah, well, it depends on what your eyes are.
Okay,
It tracks
all
your
right,
eyes exclusively because you could have a passenger typing too.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Our friend Ross is actually kind of upset about the Disney Plus thing. He tweeted, I have this on my screen. This is absurd. So Tesla owners now have to suffer because of Elon's tiff with Disney. I want my Disney Plus back for the kids. So I don't know if he's never used the app and that's why it went away, or maybe he did use it and it hasn't gone away and he's just reacting to the news, like he's unhappy about the news.
Right.
But I was seeing this sentiment a lot. I also saw Omar tweeted that if you haven't used it and it disappears, if you go in the browser and go to the website, it brings the app back because now you've engaged Disney Plus, so it brings the app back to your screen.
Oh, well, if that's true, that's fine. They could just have like a little note on the Tesla website, do like tesla.com/apps or whatever, right? Or console or whatever, right? And then just, here's how to get Disney Plus back on your thing. But I'm all for that, like, simplify. Because when you open it up and there are 50 buttons and it's all crap that you never use, get rid of that trash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the only bad news I'm getting out of this, or my only dissatisfaction with it is so far a lot of people have been complaining about like, oh, Elon's shenanigans on X are going to affect Tesla shareholders. And so far all of that's only been indirect, but this feels like the first time that like beef that happened on X has now moved into like directly affecting Tesla owners.
Ooh, that's a really good observation. Yeah, you're right. That's how you see the connection potentially. That is very interesting.
That's the only negative thing I have to say on that.
Somebody here wrote, bad news. Almost locked in a loan 2 weeks ago for over 8% on a 30-year. Locked in on a 5-1 ARM for 6.4 today. Guess I won't have as big of a refinance rate drop as I expected in the future. I mean, that's not bad news. That's just like, it's just timing. I mean, like, like my plane loan is like 6.29%. I don't want to pay that. I'd rather pay 2%, but like, it's just the economy, bro. That's just the timing. So it's not like, that doesn't mean the economy's broken. I don't know. I just saw that comment. I thought I mentioned like just because the rates are higher, like you nobody's putting a gun to your head to get the loan. I didn't have to get a plane loan. You didn't have to buy that property. So you're making the choice and you're justifying it because you think it's a good value or whatever, or it's useful to you or whatever it is. So this idea, oh, bad news, the rates are high. It's like, okay, the Pope's Catholic and bears poop in the woods. Like, yeah.
Yeah, especially if it's your first property too. It's like, well, you're paying rent anyway. If it's going to be your home that you live in, you look at it. It's not like an investment where it matters to the same degree.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, I mean, there are justifications on all angles.
Sure.
So, was it? McKay knew somebody who they got into a home.
Who? Oh, the guy we fired.
Oh, they had like somebody who knew. Or McKay, are you still here? I don't know.
He's got to be here. We said we're going to hot tub tonight. I know he's around.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Okay. Is it warm?
It's warming up right now.
Ooh, McKay. What was the story about that affordable house again? The affordable house we told them not to buy. Can you tell that story, like the gist of it really quick? We need names, addresses, socials, dates of birth,
We're going to get McKay twice in one day. Today's a special edition pod.
Oh, you got to put your clothes on.
Yeah, get out of the bikini. No hot tub till after.
Okay, well, while he works on that, what else do we have?
So
Elon respond to...
Yeah.
Elon responded to an EHack tweet. We're not blocked anymore, by the way. In fact, now quite the opposite. Elon's now interacting with us. It's kind of cool. It shows that, like, if you upset Elon once, he's a very nice and forgiving man. Let's pull this up.
Yeah, Christian, if you could throw this on the screen. You tweeted that Wall Street Journal ran a lead story saying Tesla engineers are not optimistic on FSD. And you go, reality, one sentence from an engineer was used. That was it. Then Wall Street Journal goes on about the 2 million car recall without mentioning that it's a software update or Elon Musk's second autopilot win in court. Clown emoji. And then he said more, ehack.com, and you have a link to it. And Elon Musk says, out of curiosity, I looked into that Google News page. The so-called news either misses the point or is flat out wrong. One is left depressed and misled.
Right, which the big thing about this, and again, we posted this on eHack first. The big thing about this is that if you scroll up to the picture, you can actually click on it, the picture right here. Okay, and then scroll down to the bottom, there, the Reuters piece. Zoom in on it. Like, I talk about how Tesla just won its second autopilot trial involving a fatal crash, the first in the U.S. and one outside of U.S. And this is all published right before, a couple weeks before, so plenty of time for the Wall Street Journal to know about it. The Wall Street Journal runs their story. Wall Street Journal makes no mention. They only talk about how there are active lawsuits and Tesla FSD bad, basically. No mention of the fact that the lawsuits that have actually concluded Tesla's winning. It's like, that's lame, man. That's like you got a vendetta against Elon. So that's messed up.
The consensus I've been hearing is everyone talk about, look, NHTSA is finally catching on to how dangerous autopilot and autosteer are, but it's nothing about autopilot or autosteer, how it functions, is changing at all.
Yeah, nothing.
It's how it babysits you, the driver.
The driver.
Yeah.
It's the driver's the problem, not the FSD. McKay, what is this? What happened? Somebody bought. I want to hear the story. Tell us the story about basically somebody who bought a property. I guess that we think they shouldn't have bought. You came to me and you're like, hey, should so and so, this person I know, buy this property? And what was the scenario you ran?
It was a down payment assistance program where they were given the option to basically have $38K of down payment assistance, which is a big deal. They're a newlywed couple. And it seems like a good deal at first, but I kept asking him questions about the loan. I was like, Kevin, this doesn't make sense. It's too good of a deal. And as the saying goes, if it's too good of a deal, it probably is. Or there's a big reason why.
But.
So basically TLDR, they don't own the land.
So it's not even real estate. It's literally just property.
A property. So they don't
it's
own
like a
the
mobile
land.
home.
They have to pay a monthly fee, a land lease.
Yep.
They got a $38K down payment, but that does not go towards their equity. And they cannot sell the house for more than 20% of what it's worth, and they can never rent it out on this loan.
So it's literally like it's worse than renting. It's like you're you don't even have the flexibility to leave if you quickly need to. You have to find another sucker to sell it to who should not buy it. And then you're sandbagged on it. And then not only that, but didn't they stretch on their payment?
Yeah, it was a tight payment for them.
We're like, don't do this. So tight payment, and now they're going and remodeling it or whatever, and they have no money?
Yeah, it was a tough one. It was hard because the best way, you and I put it to them is if you guys want to do this as whatever you guys want, and it was not even financial advice. I kind of asked Kevin just personally, in a situation like this, what would what's your point of view?
And I'm pretty sure my answer was run.
Yeah, and so I kind of explained to them like, hey, you guys can do whatever you want, but do not think of this house as an investment. This is not an investment. If you want to live in it as a home, you can treat it as such, but this is not deemed like an investment in any sort of way because it's not a good investment.
It's horrible. Like I was much more, I mean, they're friends obviously, so McKay's not being nice about it, but I'm like, this is stupid. Like you don't own the land. It's not real estate. You can't rent it out. You're screwed. You have no liquidity. You have no flexibility. It's hard to sell. When people used to come to me as an agent, so when I represented buyers, they'd come to me and be like, Kevin, we found this really good deal. It's affordable, but it's a really, really good deal. I'm like, but you don't buy that. And they're like, but Kevin, here's why it's good. And I'm like, I'm not writing the offer. You call another agent because it is the worst investment. And you're going to call me to sell it one day and I'm not going to be able to. And then you're going to get mad at me. I would never sell people that trash, ever. Like I would not put my reputation on that.
My biggest question that I never have gotten an answer to from my friend, and I don't think I've asked you, is like, can you refinance out of a loan like that?
Oh yeah. I mean, you can, well, they're not real estate loans because you don't own land. So they're usually like personal property loans. And so what they do is they come up with special deals where they have like government backing for some of these types of loans. So usually you're getting like these 20, 25-year loans with different lock-in periods. It's rare to get a traditional loan on it. I don't know, maybe they did, but usually you're not getting traditional lending. So your lender pool is very restricted. Like whatever loans there are available, it's like, if there are 20 lenders, maybe 2 of them do those sort of loans. And so now you get worse fees, worse rates. I mean, it's just a bad idea.
Gotcha.
I hate it.
Yeah. So, I mean, the interesting thing is like it is good to maybe look at what down payment assistance your county has, if they have any programs or any
100%.
stuff on that.
There are actually good down payment assistance programs. Like California does one where you could put 3% down on a conventional loan, normal property. It's not an income restricted property. And so no restrictions on the property. And you can rent it out. You own the property, no restrictions, whatever. All it is if you own the property forever, you never have to pay the loan back. If you sell the property, you have to pay the loan back. Fair game. That's it. No equity share, no rental restrictions, no sale restrictions. That kind of down payment assistance, free money, man. Take it all day long.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, lots of lessons to be learned there. The most painful one is just them doing renovations that have no value.
Dude, you said it was a 2006 property and they're renovating it?
Super new build.
This is like we can do a whole new First Pro.
They're not doing like a full rebuild. It's just like replacing a ton of light fixtures. They're doing a lot of landscaping work. That like the thing, a lot of it could have been negotiated at the negotiation table, but that time has passed.
Yeah.
Like half the house has blinds and half doesn't, and blinds aren't the cheapest thing you can buy. And it's just sad. Like the irony of it is like they got this huge house and he bought a brand new TV as like his move-in present or whatever.
Oh no.
And he's like, I bought this huge TV and I haven't been able to sit down once to watch TV because I've been so busy working to make sure I can pay for the house. And then
see, that's called being payment poor.
Yeah.
You're payment poor on a bad investment, and now you're throwing more good money after bad, and it's sad. So now you go paycheck to paycheck, blowing money on something stupid.
Yeah,
that's sad.
But yeah, that's that story.
I feel bad for them. Well, they'll learn their lesson. They get out of that, and they get into some real estate in the future. Real estate.
You're cute on your knees, McKay.
Oh.
See you for skinny dipping later.
All right. So where were we? Biden. Car crash?
Yeah, it was his motorcade.
Was he in it?
No, but I got a video of his reaction in real time. Let me pull this up.
Oh, I want to see this. Okay. Yeah, but anyway, this HouseHack reaction, that was kind of cool. We should put that like at the top. There should be like a little banner. Now responded to by Elon Musk. Whatever, like at the top of, yeah. All right, what we got?
Yeah, counter a number of times Elon Musk has visited this page. At least one. Yeah. Okay, so this is Biden walking into his motorcade when this happens.
Mr. President, why are you losing to Trump in the polls?
What'd he say?
Wrong polls. Boom, that was the crash.
Oh. Look at how they swarm him. They're like, get him out of here. Yeah, because that could be an attack. You know, they don't know.
You'll see the driver's face in a second.
Oh, yeah, they're sending all the media away. Yeah, it could be an attack. They have no idea.
Yep.
Is this it?
That's the car.
Dude, that guy got swarmed. Oh, did he? DUI.
You got charged DUI.
Yeah. Bro, do you know actually when I was in law enforcement with the volunteer police explorer stuff, because I had like 2,000 hours on the road or whatever, they said people who are like actually drunk, they get attracted to lights, like the colorful flashing lights. And so like for whatever reason, but just like cops with people pulled over or whatever, it's like a fly going to those like light killer thingies, and they're just like attracted to it. It's like, whoa.
Yeah, it made me think of, was it Bug's Life?
Yeah.
That's an old
The
one.
light, I can't.
Yeah.
Don't go to the light, I can't not, or whatever it is. Yeah.
So the motorcade got hit. But the motorcades are usually like 40, 50 vehicles. They're crazy. They have like, there's a vehicle in the front that kind of leads the way. They have a vehicle to disable any sort of like electronics nearby. So if you're
jammers.
going over, jammers, you got Secret Service. Then you have like the actual limo where Biden's in, which is heavily armored. It has his blood type in the back just in case. You have medical staff ready to go. You have local police. Like it's a huge deal.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it's really
so
cool.
It was really cool.
We were looking at. Have you seen the North Korean motorcade?
Oh, with the guys running on the side?
I'm gonna play this on the screen.
Yeah. That's like such a hilarious contrast. They must just do it as like for the show when they like roll up to a scene or something like that.
Come on, give it some gas. That cracks me up every
pretty
time,
funny.
man. So a little less impressive, I'd say, than the U.S. one.
Yeah,
but
no kidding.
That's what we've got. All right, I got one more thing for us today. It's just some news regarding Adobe, an acquisition that fell through. They were looking to acquire Figma, and this would have been one of, not the largest, but one of the largest acquisitions in the tech world. They'd agreed to acquire it for $20 billion. And they basically ended up giving up after a lot of scrutiny, specifically from the UK and the EU for antitrust. And Figma is they're used by a lot of companies like Uber and Zoom and a few others too. And so I guess the regulators were saying that this destroys competition, which they disagreed with because they're like, well, this only competes with one of our many products, and that's actually a loser. Like it's not a product we care about. But anyway, the deal ended up falling through. And Adobe had still agreed to pay them a $1 billion termination fee.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Like I want to be in an acquisition where I just get a free termination fee.
Like, I'm so sorry, man. Here's $1 billion. Like, I forgive you.
That's crazy though. $1 billion. That sucks for Adobe. But I think their stock actually went up a little bit today, didn't
let's
it?
check.
So it seems like
Most did today. Today was a good day in the market.
Yeah, that's true. I think Tesla was actually down. Yeah, it was up 2.5% today. That's interesting. Adobe, that is. And Tesla was down about 0.5% with another 0.5% down in the aftermarkets. And then, of course, on bonds today, looks like 3.94. Okay, yeah, so it was actually up a little bit on the day. Interesting. Yeah, very, very interesting. So it's going to be fascinating what the next few months bring, but it looks like the end of the year is going to be a little Santa Claus-y, which is kind of fun. Yeah, I don't mind a happy market again. You go back to 2019, it was boring, though. Like in 2018, 19, finance news. Like I financed my Tesla Model X in 2017, and I remember I did like little finance videos on Tesla and Tesla stock and stuff like that. So few people were interested because it was just like everything's fine. There was no like fear. So, but sadly, I think that's just the direction it's going in.
Don't
in
you have
terms
an
of, like,
update
content, but
on
I actually
your-
think it's good.
Update on your Black X?
Oh yeah. We I wish I had. I brought it over here because So I financed that car because it was a 1.49% interest rate, and I'm like, I'm never paying this off. And the payment on it was $13.37 a month.
That's perfect.
Which I'm like, that's so elite. That's cool. So I'm like, I'm never paying this off, and it was a 6-year loan, and it's kind of crazy. But I bought my my X in December 2017. We're in December 2023 now, fully paid off. Which is so weird because I remember when I was an agent then getting the car. I had a Prius for like 7 years. It was a $30,000 car that I had paid off. And it was like, oh my gosh, like buying a $100,000 car was like the most buttery thing you could do. And I'm like, I got a kid now. I'm about to have a second kid. It's not safe to have not all the safety features I could have. I'm like, what? They have autopilot on the highways, which has always been very, very good. I'm like, this is fantastic. So I sold myself on the car, and it ended up being a really good investment. Now it's turned into like December of 22. It turned into a plane. So we'll see what Decembers of the future bring. But so far it's becoming December's like risk acquisition month.
Or Cabo month sometimes.
Cabo, man, that was fun. Yeah,
That was a good December.
Yeah.
All right. Oh, I'm looking at some of the biggest stock movers for the day.
Yeah.
Just because we were talking about that. United States Steel Corporation went up 26%. I saw this morning. They're actually getting acquired by a Japanese company. They're getting sold for 14.9 billion.
Yeah, it's crazy. They gave the best offer. They were getting offers, I think $55 a share. They were getting offers around 35, 40. The Japanese company just came in, blew it out of the water. What I do think is funny is there's this senator, Tuberville or whatever. He keeps shorting U.S. stocks because he's like so anti-Binomics or whatever. And one of his shorts is U.S. Steel. So he just got destroyed. But he's putting so little money in because it's just messaging.
Yeah.
It's just his way of trying to be like, I'm so confident in his belief, I'm going to just short American companies.
Still, though, the loss potential on shorting is pretty high. Like, I understand maybe buying puts or something, but shorting it is risky.
He is actually options. He's
Okay,
doing
that
options.
makes a little more sense. That makes a little more sense.
He's doing options out like 6 to 12 months. Straight short, it's like infinite loss for sure.
That one's
it's a little
ballsy.
riskier.
Yeah, and then Sigma Lithium Corporation plus 10%. Cool.
Yeah. Lithium prices are down so much. Lithium, there was a while there where lithium prices were like just absolutely through the roof. And I got to find a chart of recent lithium prices. Yeah. Here we go. Okay, let's go. I'll go on the week chart on Trading Economics. There you go. Yeah, right here. Look at that. I mean, this is the lithium price boom here during the 2022 inflation cycle, basically. And it is just lithium prices have collapsed to nearly pre-COVID levels. Just crazy because everybody was betting on EVs and the EV takeover and lithium or whatever and thought, oh, well, why invest in EVs when you can invest in lithium? Oops. Nope. RIP.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. Another one, RIP, I think, has MP Material. Oh, well, they've started coming back. MP stock, MP Material. They're down 25% on the year. Mostly they've been falling since Elon's battery day killed the idea or the need for these critical rare earth minerals, that MP Materials, mostly imports from China. They got mad at me for saying that.
MP Materials got mad at you?
Yeah, they sent me like an angry email. I tweeted about them. Well, let me see if I can find it. Real Meat Kevin, MP Materials, Twitter. And it wasn't 2 years ago. It was definitely like this year. Here it is. 5 months ago. All right, let me see that. Yeah. This is the one. You need to show this up on screen. I wrote, how ironic. MP Material jumping on Beijing restricting exports of rare earth metals. Yet 90% of MP revenue comes from a Chinese company. So people are investing in the United States MP Materials thinking they're getting U.S. rare earths, yet those rare earths are going to China anyway. So in other words, most of the rare earths that are actually being mined are just being sold to a Chinese company. And then I put the receipt. I'm like, here are the receipts. And it was literally here as of March 31st, 2023, Shenghe was the company's principal customer and accounted for 90% of product sales. So they emailed me and they're like, Kevin, it's like, this is just phase 1. We're trying to get to phase 2 and this, that, or whatever. And I'm like, I'm just putting what you put in your documents.
Have we reached phase 2 yet? No.
I said, I'm like, well, can I have a tour of your factory? I just did a tour of Boxable. I was wondering if I could have a tour of your factory.
They were
too.
like, hell no.
They're like, we'll get back to you. That's all I got.
Good tweet. Twitter's been getting more popular again. They're at their record high traffic of the last 18 months.
Last 18 months.
Year and a half. So the acquisition was a little over a year ago.
Yeah.
But this goes back to a little before the acquisition too.
Okay. Well, let's say who cited that?
I've been seeing this on a few different, including like I have X News Daily on the screen right now, but Elon reposted it. So
must be true.
Elon said it's true. He said growth is strong.
Yes.
Elon has never lied.
No.
X Twitter site traffic up 22.3% year over year from November 22 to 2023.
Yeah, but they're probably also looking into a hole, honestly. And I'm not saying it's not going to, but I'd like to see the 5-year trend. Because it's easy when like you had a hole to then just like that, once you lap that hole, like look at all our growth, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I think old Twitter was on the downhill and it had been for a while. So
That's also true.
yeah,
That's a good point. All right, anyway.
that's
all
my
we got.
news. We did our hour.
We did it. All right, let's get out of here. Oh no. Oh no.
I have made a mistake.
It's all right. So thanks so much for checking us out. Make sure to check out eHack, eHack.com. Lots of stuff on eHack. In the meantime, thank you, Christian. Even though I'm a licensed financial advisor, licensed real estate broker, and becoming a stock broker, this video is neither personalized financial advice nor real estate advice for you. It is not tax, legal, or otherwise personalized advice tailored to you. This video provides generalized perspective, information, and commentary. Any third-party content I show should not be deemed endorsed by me, like StreamYard. Go to McKevin.com/StreamYard, how we stream all this stuff. And our market open live streams every day the market is open. This video shall never be deemed reasonably sufficient information for the purpose of evaluating security or investment decision. Any links or promoted products are either paid affiliations or products or services we may benefit from. I personally operate and actively manage ETF and hold long positions in various securities, potentially including those mentioned in this video. However, I have no relationship to any issues other than HouseHack, nor am I presently acting as a market maker.